It's the test because we already filmed this whole video and there was no volume, so this better work. Hey guys, so the other day we went to McKee Botanical Gardens. It's in Vero Beach. So a little bit of history about the botanical garden is originally back in 1922 it was 80 acres worth of tropical paradise, basically. Very big in Florida before Disney, basically. Yeah. Tons of tourists. Over the years, the tourism slowly started to degrade. And by the 70s, they sold a lot of the land to condo developers. 18 acres is what was left over. Bring us to the 90s, a fundraiser was started to save those 18 acres. They basically saved, restored, and then renamed the 18 acres to what they are called now, the McKee Botanical Gardens. It is home to 10,000 native and tropical plants. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start our top 5 things you need to see at the McKee Botanical Garden. Starting with number one.
The lilies.
The lilies. So the lilies are super awesome, I think, and I'm not even a lily fan. I don't know.
It has one of Florida's largest and most celebrated collection of lilies.
Yeah, and when we say largest, I think of the lilies themselves. They have some that are like, I don't know, like 3 foot wide. I mean, they're huge.
They're
the biggest
huge,
lilies I've
yeah.
ever seen. You could like curl up in the fetal position and
it
lay
kind
on
of had
them.
like an Alice in Wonderland feel when you saw those.
Yeah,
ones.
it's definitely, they're really cool.
Yeah, they've got like over 80 varieties.
80 species.
Yep, and both night and day blooming.
Yep.
And I think what they bloom
Summer.
in spring and summer.
Yeah.
End of spring and through summer.
Yep. June is they do an annual festival in June sometime. And yeah, it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah.
They have bridges and walkways that you can see lilies on both sides of the water on the bridge.
Yep.
In multiple different spots. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
It really is,
I mean,
yeah.
it's really cool. I never would have thought I don't know. Number 2 on our list
is the Hall of Giants and the Spanish Kitchen.
So the Hall of Giants and the Spanish Kitchen are basically in the same area. If you're looking at one, the other will be directly behind you. The Hall of Giants has what they say is the world's largest table, one-piece table. It's mahogany, 35 feet long, 10 feet wide.
Yep.
And it's really sweet. It's really, it's a really cool table.
Real cool, and it came by ship here.
Yeah, back in the
40s or something?
20s or 40s.
Yeah.
They had to move it by ship to where it is now. The Spanish Kitchen was originally designed to be used as a kitchen, and they actually used it during the heyday of the gardens when the tourism was at the highest. They actually cooked steaks on the 3 kitchen stove thing and potatoes and yeah,
all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's really neat to see also how they made it. It's just really
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah. Number 3
is their children's garden.
So the children's garden is fairly new to the botanical garden. It has splash pad, I guess you would call it. It's kind of a smaller one.
Like a fountain or whatever.
Yeah, a fountain. I think it actually has 2 fountains. It's a great area, even if you don't have kids. If you start to get a little hot in the Florida heat, you can actually go in there and cool your feet off, put your feet in the water and whatnot. And then also it has...
they've got a really cool pirate ship. Kind of looks like it's coming out of a tree.
Yeah.
And then they have rope bridges, I guess, like all through it that they can climb around.
Yep.
And I guess their whole motto for that is discover, explore, be a kid. So it's a great kind of educational tool, especially if you're homeschooling. You know, they get to see like a lot of the natural things about Florida and learn and play at the same time. So.
And the thumbnail of this video, the picture of like that big flower looking thing is actually in the children's garden area of McKee. It's actually a water fountain. Number 4
is the Stone Bridge.
So the Stone Bridge is a bridge made out of stone. It's kind of fairly near the beginning of the park, I guess you could say.
Yep, it kind of, I think, will kind of take you into the section where it leads eventually into the lily section. But the cool thing about the Stone Bridge is that when they restored McKee, they didn't even know it was there. It was covered by vines, Brazilian pepper trees and stuff. So a worker was just they had a lot of volunteers, I think, helping. They actually found it because they were cutting all the stuff with the machete, and the machete hit the bridge, and then all of a sudden they discovered this beautiful stone bridge. So that was really cool.
That's pretty neat, yeah. And the bridge is kind of popular for a bunch of, photos and graduation shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if you look up McKee Botanical Gardens, you'll find that bridge probably one of the more popular photos for sure.
Yeah.
Number 5 on our top 5 things you need to see at the McKee Botanical Garden
is the stickwork structure.
So the stickwork structure is basically, how would you explain it?
Well, it's artwork.
It is artwork.
Yeah, but natural artwork. So an artist actually created it. It is man-made, but it's made of natural. You said they use trees.
So basically, they from what I gathered is they cut pieces of these trees. This artist cut pieces of these trees off and intertwined them to build these structures. Now, what's cool about it is the trees that he cut from can still grow. He didn't kill them. So he's basically making sustainable artwork that will degrade over time, doesn't hurt the environment, and it's beautiful art, and then also doesn't hurt the trees that he cut it from. So he originally started with a piece called the Royals in 2016, which was eventually damaged from weather, most likely a hurricane, I would assume, in Florida. And then after that was damaged, in 2020 he built the newest one, which you can see now, which was called the Grand Central. The Grand Central.
Yep.
Beautiful art. It's awesome to look at. You guys definitely need to check it out. It's when you walk in the gate, it's to the right. It'll be one of the first things you see. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and almost like creates like private rooms, even though it's like all open. But it's definitely got all these cool areas.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be temporary artwork, so eventually it will become part of the landscape again once it deteriorates.
Yeah. It's awesome. And once you walk through it, it brings us to our bonus. Number 6, our bonus, the giant mushroom statue. So, I don't know why, but there's a huge mushroom replica.
Well, it used to be there. That actual mushroom used to be there.
Like
stone. An original, but then they made a thing for it.
Right. But still, I don't know why there's a fake mushroom statue in this park, but there is a replica concrete mushroom. It probably stands, I don't even know, 8 foot tall. It's huge.
Taller than that.
Really cool to see, I guess. But that's there if you want to check it out.
Yep.
We took photos with it. Pretty neat to see. That is the replica of the original concrete statue, which is still in town, but it's actually in a condominium neighborhood
Vista Gardens
called
condos.
Vista Gardens, which is crazy. So
yeah, and that's cool too. We'll show you a picture.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat too.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that was our top 5 things you need to see, plus a bonus that you guys need to see at the McKee Botanical Garden. This is in Vero Beach, Florida.
So if you're in or near, definitely go check it out, because it's part of Florida history, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And we actually even went in the middle of the summer, which is very hot here, close to 100 degrees, but there was so much shade and with all like the tropical landscape and stuff, that it actually felt really nice. And there's also a cafe and an ice cream shop too. So
just make sure that you wear mosquito repellent, because in certain parts of the park there are more mosquitoes than others. So bring some mosquito repellent if you're kind of prone to that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about a 2-hour walk, they say, if you take your time. Ours is a little bit longer. There were some schools, groups there, so we kind of were a little bit slower.
And professional photographers.
If you go, make sure you have time to walk.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, like and subscribe, and give us any feedback. Have you been, or would you love to go?
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, see ya.